Technology Integration Project by Lorena Acosta. The technology you will be needing for this project will be a laptop, an iPad, and a QR code scanner that you will download onto the iPad. The instructional design model to be used will be the 5E instructional model. It will also incorporate the constructive learning theory. The 5E model is to generate interest, access prior knowledge, and connection of past knowledges. The techniques that we will be using will be monitor to adjust comprehension, for example, using background knowledge, creating sensory images, rereading a portion out loud, generating questions. It's also D, making inferences about text and use textual evidence to support understanding. The objective of this lesson, in this lesson, students will be introduced to how technology can be solved in crimes. They will gather evidence from QR codes. QR codes are multi-dimensional barcodes that can store different kinds of data, including images, text, and websites. In the lesson, students will use the QR codes to solve a crime. The audience is intended for 5th graders, and it's about a 45 minutes to an hour lesson, depending on the time that you have. The 5E lesson plan. To engage is to access prior knowledge. To explain is to discover new skills. To explore, you will communicate new understandings. To extend, you will apply the new knowledge. And to evaluate is to assess the understanding of the lesson. In the engage, you will watch short clips from CSI or Law & Order. Then you'll have some questioning. Ask students if they find forensic science interesting. What have you learned from forensic science in the media? What would you like to learn about? And the conversations will go flowing based on these things. During the lesson, students will use the tools of science to solve a crime that occurred in their school. They will be asked to think analytically, make inferences based on evidence, and draw conclusions. They will use QR codes to solve the crime, and that's an app that they will be downloading onto their iPads if the iPads already don't have them. The crime. The crime was identified when the police noticed that the school mascot, a bobcat, was missing from the shelf in his office where he keeps it. After conducting a search of his office, his secretary's office, and all the rooms nearby, the principal concluded that the mascot had been stolen. He sent out a mass text alert to the teachers asking for help to find the bobcat. He was especially concerned that it was located before the first football game of the season, and that's how you're going to engage the students. At the top, you'll have the scanner. If they scan that will pop up automatically. The class will be divided into small groups of about 4 students. Students should use the student's e-sheet to look at resources that explain where to go to download the QR apps in their iPads. Give the students a couple of minutes to follow the directions and download the app. Some iPads might already have them, so that's just easier access for the students. To extend, you're going to give the students time in the class to discuss the information what they have about the suspects. Based on what they know, ask them to develop a hypothesis about who stole that school mascot. Have them write down their hypothesis on the student sheet. In addition, students will be asked to write down on the sheets the kind of evidence they will be looking for. And all of these evidence will be on QR codes. They will scan and it'll give you an evidence. It will scan and you'll get another evidence. So everything will be based on QR codes. Tell the students that evidence is in the form of QR codes and is located throughout the classroom. Then give each group time to circulate through the class locating codes. Using the QR app, students can decide the codes and determine what evidence has been found. After students have collected the evidence, have them meet in their groups to discuss their findings. Based on the evidence, they can deduce who stole the mascot. Remind students that all pieces of evidence must match the order to identify the perpetrator of the crime. Based on the evidence, students should come to a conclusion that the quarterback is likely the suspect who stole that mascot. To evaluate, students should prepare a presentation for their classes using the evidence of the information they recorded on the student sheet. The presentation should state who they think committed this crime. The presentation can be done as a PowerPoint or as a QR code for the rest of the class to interpret. So in turn, they use codes and then they put in the codes to have their classmates solve the crime as well. Check for understanding. Have the students mastered the technology? Were they able to download the QR code apps and to decipher the QR codes? Did the students use critical thinking skills to analyze the evidence and figure out who committed the crime? And did the students show a greater understanding of the tools of forensic science? So there's a lot of different things that you're going to be checking for understanding. The references used are the two different pages which were used to find that. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed.